Warning, we are a spoilers podcast. At times we are also an offensive podcast. And we are most certainly a verbally explicit podcast. So if you fear for any of your delicate sensibilities, please back up now before you reach the point of no return. Alright, pussies, this is your final warning.
Welcome to Cinematic Anarchy, and this evening we're going to have sort of a short-sheeted podcast, because I'm tired, and I believe my guest here this evening, our mainstay, Mr. Omar, is kind of tired too. Yeah?
Short-sheeted and short-handed.
Short-sheeted, short-handed, minorly short-tempered. And
not much on-tempered, but probably short-legged.
Short-legged?
Short-legged. I actually get pretty goofy when I'm really tired.
Well, I get a little, I don't even know how you'd put it. Out of my head when I'm exhausted. Mm-hmm. I stumble on my tongue a little bit. I start saying aya, as you could hear just a moment ago.
I understand.
Which is also the main sound effect from the Karate Kid. Aya!
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, we are going to be discussing this evening a fantastic little satirical comedy called The Death of Stalin.
Yeah.
This was a special movie. I'm gonna bring this up. I'm gonna give you my opinion first, and you can tell me your opinion because you're the one that chose this movie.
Yeah, this movie was a satire inspired by true events.
I feel about this movie and the casting in this movie like I feel about Burt Reynolds being cast as an English king in The Name of the King. How can you cast an entire movie about Stalin and Russian prime ministers and not have a single person with a Russian accent anywhere near the film? Anywhere.
It would have helped if everybody had a British accent, but one of them sounded as American as anybody.
Two of them. You had Steve Buscemi and Jeffrey Tambor both sounded American.
Well, yeah, because Jason Isaacs did it flawlessly.
But like
Jason Isaacs played the generalissimo that came in.
Yes. But
who I actually share a birthday with.
It was an entirely an American and British cast.
Yeah, not
a single Russian in the group.
Might have been some Scots.
Possibly. Okay, so let's say UK American. That will just cover that whole base right there.
Yeah.
But even Stalin was not Russian at all. Stalin himself was not Russian. So
who knows? Probably they still scared of him and didn't want to make fun of Stalin.
I have no idea. I guess the Americans and the Brits were all right with it, but if you ask a Russian actor, hey, you want to do a movie about Stalin? I'm good. We're good.
There was a Soviet, not necessarily from Russia. It's just like Stalin wasn't Russian. He was from, I think it was from Albania or Armenia, one of those. Stalin wasn't Russian from Russia. He was from this, former Soviet Union, but not Russia itself. But you have Olga Kurylenko in the cast. She's Ukrainian.
But I mean, the cast was
Predominantly, yes.
predominantly Americans and
Non-Soviet.
no Soviets at all. I don't know if you can call them Soviets anymore. I think it's just... Is it Russian? Just Russian in general?
No, Russian is Russian. Now, all these countries that used to belong to the Soviet Union or the Eastern Bloc,
Right.
they're their own country now. Ukraine is their own countries. Sarajevo, Bosnia, all these things, they are their own countries nowadays.
I didn't know how to feel about this entire movie.
They used to be part of the Soviet Union. It was pretty crazy. It was crazy. All over.
This feels like the Monty Python retelling of the story of the death of Stalin. That's what it felt like.
I enjoyed it. I was cracking up.
Oh, I enjoyed the movie tremendously. I'm watching the belly bump with Steve Buscemi here right now in the beginning of the movie. Like,
and the other fat dude, who in real life wasn't a fat dude.
No, not at all.
I started.
He's a big guy, just not that big.
Yeah, I started googling and Wikipediaing some of those cronies that he have. Of course, Nikita Khrushchev, we know about. No need to Google that guy.
Right.
But yeah, I did. Molotov neither, but Beria, that guy that was supposed to be Stalin's right hand man, he was a nasty human. He was a nasty little puppy.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, the makeup jobs that they did on the entire cast was just fucking spot on. I mean,
that was good. Yeah.
The amazing job that they did with Steve Buscemi alone.
Yeah. Steve Buscemi played a satirical version of Nikita Khrushchev.
And Michael Palin threw me. I did not realize that was him.
Yeah, it's true.
It took me a minute to realize it was him because I'm used to him looking... I haven't seen him in a while. Like a long while. So to see him in this movie, I just... it threw me for a minute there.
A lot of things in it. The way they went down, it's mostly how it went down. They just added the comic relief to it.
Well, of course. Like I said, it plays like a Monty Python movie almost.
Because they tried to cover it up for a few days, and then when they couldn't anymore, they just said, there he goes.
It took a very dark, decidedly not funny at all turn at the very end.
Well, yeah, but basically all the remnants of Stalin's dictatorship pretty much got done away with it or humiliated in some kind of way. Because that guy, he was meaner than Stalin. He did all of Stalin's dirty work, and he basically, the minute he got sick, before he was even declared dead, he just wrapped that shit up.
Well, I don't know what you would call it. I'd say, if you were to put it in like mafioso terms, he's like the enforcer. Like,
yeah.
The Don themselves may not be particularly cruel or mean, but there's that guy right below him that carries out all of his orders. That guy's usually a fucking bulldog.
Yeah, because very rarely a guy that's the killer gets to that chair as far as that hierarchy goes. Yes, you have had cases, but look at how they ended up. John Gotti being a main case. Al Capone was basically the John Gotti of his time in terms of how flamboyant he was. And these were guys that were they didn't know to respond anything but violence. They had a little bit of a head for business, and they had very smart people around them, but they were really just guns.
Yes, they were the hired guns of the brute force. They were the muscle.
Yeah.
You know?
You had your guys that were capable of killing, but were more methodical and more discreet about everything, were the guys that usually will go up the ranks.
So, I don't even know how to feel about this movie, though. Like, all in all, I think that because of the fact that almost the entire cast, I mean, even the peasants, like almost the entire cast was British. Yeah. I think because they cast almost everybody as British in this movie, it lost a lot of what could have had like some authenticity to it. They could have at least tried a Russian accent of any sort. Any kind of Slavic accent, anything.
They cared not.
They could have. They didn't. So it really felt like the Americans and the British making fun of the Russian regime at the time.
Yeah, that's basically that was the point of it. The only problem with a lot of things is that they did very little to reinforce the idea that people need to separate communism, socialism, and dictatorship. A lot of people don't understand that those are things that go separate. Well, that you could be a fascist dictator, that having a different view of the world does not basically disqualify you from possibly becoming a dictator. That could have been a message given in this movie, but that really fell short. Other than that, I laughed my ass off.
Oh no, this was like, I mean, a perfect satirical comedy. It was funny through and through.
But where it did great, message-wise, it was showing what happens when you abuse power.
Yes. Oh, well, yeah, that she was the only one right there. The pianist was the only one that had that accent that,
Yeah, because she is Ukrainian. That's Olga Kurylenko. Yeah. You remember the movie that we saw the other day? She was the carrier in that movie.
Yeah, she was in the movie with Gary Oldman and everything.
Yeah, that was her. Decent actress, all in all, I think.
She is. I was actually, that movie that we watched, I was not used to seeing her as an action star at all. Not even remotely. That was the Courier, right? The Courier?
Yeah, the Courier.
Not used to seeing her as an action star at all. I'm used to seeing her in stuff like this.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I think she was in a Bond movie.
Oh, it wasn't like an earlier Bond movie? Like a Pierce Brosnan Bond movie?
No.
No?
I think she was with in one with Daniel Craig.
Oh. Really?
We could go to the Google.
Well, that's what you do. You go to the Google. It's possible. Maybe she might be a little too young to be a Bond girl with Pierce Brosnan. If Bond was into underage girls, maybe. Okay, I'll shut up now. Yeah, we'll never say that again. Just never, ever. Yes, she was in The Quantum of Solace.
Yeah, with Daniel Craig.
Oh, I guess she has been. You know what? Shut my mouth right there. I was sitting here talking about, I've never seen her in an act. She's been in solely fucking action movies. Who the hell was I thinking of?
I was probably thinking that you meant the other way around. Because
I rarely see her in stuff like this.
It was refreshing to me to see her in a non-action role because she did a very good job at acting it. She basically conveyed what needed to be conveyed, and a very strong woman that's a little jaded by all the political violence around her.
I'm trying to figure out what the fuck I was thinking now. I'm like, she's been in solely fucking action movies. Like everything she's been in. Action film, like all the way through. Death to Stalin is the one that stands out like a sore fucking thumb.
Uh-huh. The Death of Stalin.
That's where I know her from. 7 Psychopaths.
Mm-hmm. She was in that too.
I did not get to see the Quantum of Solace only because maybe it's just me, but Daniel Craig's version of Bond never felt like Bond to me. Like,
I think he's a real deal. I like her more than Pierce Brosnan. Not Pierce Brosnan, more than the guy that was right before Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan, the guy before him was, oh God, what is his name? Now you're going to do that to me. I know him too. He was in like Beautician and the Beast and
yeah.
Talk for me for just a moment because
yeah, just go to the Google again.
Go to the Google. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to the Google because my brains are like tipping out of my ears right now.
Look for
Daniel Craig, Timothy Dalton. Timothy Dalton was just before him.
Yeah,
Timothy Dalton was a bad Bond.
Yeah, I like Daniel Craig more than him and more than George Lazenby.
Yeah, Timothy Dalton was a really bad Bond. I didn't like him, but
Roger Moore was so.
The reason why I say that Daniel Craig doesn't feel like a real Bond to me is because I've watched all of the Bond movies, and between Sean Connery, Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton, Pierce Brosnan, one of the mainstays about the movies was always the fact that, yes, it was kind of an action movie, but there was also sort of a cheeky kind of goofiness to a lot of it as well. There was a lot of moments that kind of made you go, that can't fucking happen in real life. And they turned it around, and Daniel Craig's version felt a little bit more like
Mission human and real.
Like Mission Impossible almost, you know?
Yeah,
without the impossible part.
Too serious. I didn't care for Roger Moore that much because I don't know if you see the movies now. Roger Moore looks like he only fits in the 80s.
Roger Moore's version of the Bond character was probably the most outlandish version of Bond. Like it became the whole reason why Austin Powers exists. That's how goofy it was.
It was. Yeah, I think because if you look at a movie with Sean Connery now,
right,
like, and through the magic of special effects, just put him in modern stuff, modern technology, it wouldn't skip a beat. It looks timeless.
Right. Roger Moore definitely looked like a product of the 80s.
It only fits in the 80s. It's like Reaganomics Bond. He looks like one of those dudes too.
Reaganomics Bond. I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't fond of Roger Moore only because the fact that Roger Moore's Bond is the one that brought us Moonraker.
I know.
Like I said, that goofy mess is the whole reason why Austin Powers exists, was because of how off the rails goofy that got.
And a couple of others.
But the Bond
you
villains...
remember the cartoon that they did about this spy, secret agent dude on Adult Swim. I keep forgetting his name. Pretty good though. Pretty funny.
No.
Animated show.
Nope.
I guess it was part of this secret organization, whatever, government organization that was run by his mom. And the guy was a spy. Archer. It was pretty good.
Okay, yes, I do know that show. I'm like, what the hell are you talking? Archer. Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Archer was dope. I enjoyed Archer. I still, every time I catch an episode, I watch it.
Archer is definitely a good show. I'll have to give you that. I didn't get to watch all of it. It kind of went off the rails a little bit, and
me neither. But I watched a couple of them. Archer was crazy. It was Bond, basically inspired by Roger Moore. He got away with everything.
Yeah, the villains were almost always comical at best.
Yeah, it was kind of like in Bond's in Roger Moore era Bond movies.
Yeah, I guess
they got stupid.
Not for nothing. Even Roger Moore's version of Bond, I always kind of had a feeling that he might have been gay.
Might have been.
Just a little bit. Like you could always get Sean Connery as the ladies' man, but for some reason,
yeah, there was something leaky about Roger Moore.
Roger
holding that hole.
I got that feeling that Roger Moore always kind of felt uncomfortable with the lady.
Did he come out the closet?
I think he came out of the closet well after the James Bond phase. though.
But way after. I have to find out.
It was much later
'Cause
on
I-
in life, as far as I knew.
Because I knew, I guess he and Rock Hudson had a little thing. I guess they fixed each other's plumbing at some point.
Well, okay. Sure. I don't even know what to say to that.
No, there's been rumors in the past of that.
So somehow we went from Death to Stalin to Roger Moore.
In
Coming out
pure
of the closet.
Cinematic Anarchy fashion.
We always do that. It's that sidestep that we take, like way out of the line of what we were talking about. I don't. Of all the performances within Death to Stalin, who would you say stood out as the best actor?
I like the girl, Olga Kurylenko. Steve Buscemi, not the best Steve Buscemi I've ever seen, but he did pretty good.
I think
I like Steve, and I like the girl that plays Stalin's daughter.
I like Jeffrey Tambor. I think his laid back acting in this movie kind of stood out for me a little bit. You know, I like the fact that they kind of tried to make him look like a model at some point. They're trying to take pictures of him, and he's like, I'm the face of this regime. This is what they need to see, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like they treated him like he was a beautiful man.
Yeah,
They
did.
There are a lot of neck gizzards in this movie. I'm noticing now. Huh?
A lot.
A lot of waddlers.
Yeah, a few. Yeah, quite a few.
I'm just now noticing this as they're all kind of gathered around Stalin on the floor, kind of panicking that he just died. Okay. Well, you know, I think we've said enough about the Brits trying to act as Russians.
They didn't even try. They were playing Russians.
They were playing Russians, but they were like, no, you know what, I'm going to keep... That's how I felt about that In the Name of the King movie. Have you gone to actually see that?
No.
When you're casting an entire movie in the English countryside, and you might have one person with even a remotely an accent that you could kind of contribute to the UK at all. Jason Statham. He's the only one that you could even say, and he's Australian, isn't he? Not British?
Who?
Statham?
Yeah, Jason Statham. No, I think he's British.
Is he? Is he? Okay. Maybe I gotta listen to his accent again. I might have to listen to his accent again. I thought he was Australian. But watching...
He just super hood British. He's not like regular refined British. So he speak like you will recognize like British thug.
I think, what I'm trying to say is I'm just comparing the acting in this movie. Like, not a single person even tried to sound like they were from the country that they're acting within. Like, we're from Russia. Yes, I get it, but you also sound American and or English and or Scottish. And yeah, just none of you sound like you're Russian. Thank you. Good job, Olga. What the fuck's wrong with you guys? You know?
Yep.
At the same thing that I felt about that entire movie. I'm watching a movie set in the English, countryside, and the only person that has even the slightest accent that might fit in is Jason Statham, and then you've got friggin' Burt Reynolds as the king. What kind of casting job was that?
Burt Reynolds of everybody. Did he even at least try the accent?
No. It was Burt Reynolds. You might as well have had... You had the bandit doing a job as a king. That's it. Burt Reynolds was Burt Reynolds. There's no hey, Burt, can you do me a favor? What? I know that you haven't done this in almost 70 years of you acting. No, well, not 70 years, but like 50 years of him acting. But could you try an English accent? Well, fuck no, I'm not going to do that. Okay, Burt, you just be you.
He sounded like a cowboy dressed as a king.
Yeah, exactly. Go watch it. It was. I mean, I didn't expect it to be a good movie anyway because it was directed by this guy who's notorious for ruining straight
Stories.
He basically does all straight to video adaptations of video games.
Don't worry.
So,
That probably landed him square in the middle of the straight to audio market.
oh yeah, right. At this point, we don't even want to put this straight to video. We're just going to put this on a CD. Right? You can download this as an MP3. That's it.
It's straight to audio. You just made an action audible.
We don't even want this movie anymore. We're burning the picture, keeping the audio. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Who was the guy?
Burt Reynolds.
No, the guy that's famous for making the director.
Oh, God. I'm going to have to come up with his name, too. I know the guy, and I know what movies he's responsible for, but give me just a minute, and I will come up with his info, because thankfully I have IMDb sitting on my phone.
Well, in Burt Reynolds, while you search for that, in Burt Reynolds' half-assed defense, half-assed, because it's not like he deserved any credit, he did a few movies that were classic, but they were typecast for him, like the little, cowboy type, Texan type dude, like Cannibal Run and those other movies he did.
Okay, so I got it. The guy's name is Uebol. I think that's how you pronounce it. Uweboll. Uebol.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh no.
He has done such shitfest movies as these are all. I'm giving you just the ones that have to do with video games, by the way. Alone in the Dark. In the Name of the King. He did Blood Rain. I believe he's also responsible for. Where are they? He did In the Name of the King 1 and In the Name of the King 3. He did not do In the Name of the King 2 for some reason.
They were mad at him.
Well, I'd be mad at him. Oh, he did do In the Name of the King 2. My apologies, he did.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god, I forgot about that movie. This is definitely not a video game movie, but he did a movie called Blubberella.
Barbarella?
Nope. No. Blubberella. As in blubber, as in fat.
Oh my.
As in a really, really overweight female femme fatale Russian killer or Nazi killer.
Really, really big Nazi killer.
I've seen the movie.
Wow.
I'm sorry to say.
You would have.
Of course I have. Oh, there we go. He did House of the Dead as well. He's done a lot of movies, but he's mostly notorious for the fact that he takes video games that people kind of have heard of, kind of liked, and people are all excited to watch the movie, and then it turns out it's a shitfest. Blood Rain was supposed to be a big movie for him. So was Alone in the Dark. In the Name of the King was kind of supposed to be big with the cast that they had behind it, but it was a shit movie.
He's good at coming up with money grab movies with no sense of artistic criteria, I guess. Those money grabs that you can throw a lot of hype behind them to bring people to the theaters and then just make your money and bounce.
I feel like he is the guy that you call when you want to Donald Trump something. You know what Donald Trumping something is? Tax time is coming up. You need to bankrupt something so that you can get out of having to pay taxes. So you get a big name project going, and everybody's like, oh, let's invest all this money in it, and it's going to be a fantastic film, and then it turns out to be a shit fest. They make no money on it, but hey, guess what? The studio doesn't have to pay taxes now.
It's a money grab. Yeah, because most of those things that he did, all of these failed enterprises that Trump did, were a money grab. Like, we jump in, take some money, bankrupt it. That's it.
Right. That's about it.
Some books. I think they brought in who might have they brought in as a chef to cook those books? What's the name?
Oh, yeah. Let's see, there's any number of celebrities that could come in. We could get Guy Fieri. Could come in and cook those.
Guy Fieri looks the guy that will come in and cook those books. Or what was that lady that got caught saying the N-word?
Oh, God. I forgot her name. Paula Deen, yeah.
Paula Deen. I think Paula Deen cooked Trump's books.
This close to calling Paula Deen Mama June.
Mama June.
Honey Boo Boo's mom. Oh.
Yep.
The fact that I know who Mama June and Honey Boo Boo are, the fact that I know who they are, it actually disappoints me, like, deeply. In my soul, it disappoints me that I know who those people are.
Have you watched an episode?
No, never.
Then you're reading too much about the wrong entertainment.
No.
Because
I know who they are, that's enough.
Just the name Mama June, I could imagine kind of the person it was, and you didn't land too far when you told me who it actually was.
Right? No, I mean, honestly, there was nothing about that show that compelled me to... I don't watch reality TV. I'm not the guy that watches the Jersey Shore. I'm not watching Real Housewives of anything. I have seen maybe 2 reality TV shows, and they were centralized around rock figures. I watched The Osbournes, and I did watch Gene Simmons' Family Jewels.
You should watch The Flavor of Love.
I never got to watch that either. But then again...
that one was funny as hell.
Flava Flav was the only reason why Public Enemy ended up more of a novelty act than anything else.
Well, yeah, they know what they brought him in.
That big old clock that he wore everywhere.
Yeah, no, and all his antics. But you gotta understand, he was also for years a crackhead. Even at the height of Public Enemy's popularity, he was a crackhead.
I did not know that.
There was actually a story about them being on a set of a video, actually, where Flavor Flav wanted to smoke real crack on screen.
Okay.
Because it was an anti-drug message. The song was it's called Night of the Living Bassheads. He wanted to be one of the people smoking real crack on the video.
Huh. Let's actually do drugs during an anti-drug video.
Yeah, and there was another story about them filming like a performance, like for TV or something in Europe. I believe it was Europe, or I believe it was on MTV, something like that. When they do the Everyday Yo MTV rap show, I guess he dropped a little baggie with crack on it, and I guess Chuck D saw it while they were performing. So after that was over, he rimmed his ass.
Okay. Yeah. On that note, we're going to go to our break. We're going to just...
Yeah, see, we talk about all those things that have everything to do with that.
I'm getting a feeling that's where Dave Chappelle got a lot of his inspiration for that character on the Chappelle show.
Aaron Biggums?
Yes.
Probably.
We will be back after our sponsors. Maybe. Yeah? Okay. All right, welcome back, and we are going to go ahead and just speed right into the second half, 90 miles per hour without even looking. Blindfolded, 90 miles per hour down the road into a game we call Would You Rather, the Filthy Edition.
While riding on a skateboard.
Oh, no. Skateboard? I was thinking like crotch rocket. 90 miles an hour on a crotch rocket. Suzuki Katana, something like that. That motorcycle that was really popular in the early to mid 90s.
They still are.
They are. But movies what was it? It was horrible movies too, like Biker Boys and Cool as Ice and stuff featured those kind of crotch rocket motorcycles. It was always bad movies that featured those particular motorcycles.
The katanas?
Yes. Yeah. You never saw particularly cool movies with Suzuki katanas in it.
No.
Oh, now that I'm sitting here, I'm not even watching the movie anymore. I turned it off because I didn't need it for reference. But I'm looking up here. Have you actually wanted to sit down and watch this retelling of the Karate Kid franchise, Cobra Kai?
I've never seen it. I never sat down and watched it, but I've always been interested in watching it.
It started off as a YouTube thing, and then Netflix picked it up. For some reason. I don't know. I wonder if YouTube sold the rights to it.
Probably.
I don't know if I need Ralph Macchio in my life again, but apparently it doesn't really revolve around Ralph Macchio. It revolves around the guy that was the bad guy from the first movie and the Cobra Kai studio, and I guess Daniel Russo, is that what his name is in the movie? Daniel-san?
Yeah, Daniel Russo.
Became sort of a I don't know how to put it. He became sort of an asshole. Sort of a self-centered kind of a-hole.
His character.
Yes.
So he's the bad guy on this one.
That's what I'm hearing. I haven't actually gotten to see the show. So I'm willing to give it a couple of episodes to see if it pulls me in and makes me feel like I should watch it. Because I've seen the original 3 Karate Kid movies before they destroyed it with Karate Kid: The Next Generation. Did you actually get to see that shitfest? That movie was so bad that they bury it. I can't find a DVD with Hilary Swank as the Karate Kid anywhere.
I remember.
Just either one.
Yeah.
We're gonna hear some noise in the background for just a moment because there's somebody beating the crap out of a bag of ice.
It happens. No problem.
Yep, just a little. You can hear the pulverization of ice cubes. Can you hear it?
I hear it.
Oh, it's loud and clear. So, yeah, you can find the one with Jaden Smith, everywhere. But, the one with Hilary Swank is, the embarrassment of the legacy. The one that they went, we meant well. We were trying to give, the next generation of young females a karate superstar it was Hilary Swank. I don't know what you were thinking.
Who knows?
Well, Hilary Swank's not a bad actress by any stretch of the imagination. Karate Kid? No. That was the ill-conceived Elektra movie with Jennifer Garner.
I know. I felt bad for her.
I don't know if it was just... She just felt so out of place. It's I don't know how to put this. It's somebody that should naturally be should just be in a movie wearing mom jeans trying to become an action star. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Okay. Moving on to the actual game, we're going to go ahead and start with our first set of questions from Would You Rather? Would you rather have a sex life that's like Netflix, where certain regions block your orgasms in different countries? Or have a sex life... Okay, I'll read that again. Would you rather have a sex life like Netflix that blocks certain orgasms in each country? Or have a sex life like Apple Music that keeps deleting your unauthorized orgasms?
I mean, as long as they happen, they can delete all they want. I'll take the second choice.
Rather have it deleted than blocked.
Yeah.
It's I already had it. You can delete whatever you want.
Yeah.
Here's my question.
Here. I'll be it's here. I don't need a mile toner.
Does that mean you need authorization first, though?
More than likely.
So that means that the ones that you actually get to keep, you have to have authorization for. We're sorry, could you fill out this paperwork in triplicate and make sure that you have the right license? We need to make sure the right people get paid.
They can delete all they want as long as they happen.
Fair enough.
And I will fill out a goddamn paper. That'll be my excuse. Don't you remember yesterday? I didn't fill that paper. They've deleted that. I don't remember nothing.
Okay. Would you rather own the Chicago Bears or be the ruler of Ethiopia?
Ethiopia today?
Yes.
Not that bad. The Chicago Bears suck this day and age.
The Chicago Bears...
These are not the Chicago Bears that did the Super Bowl shuffle.
Okay. So, let's be entirely honest about that one Super Bowl. Everybody's talking... It was a perfect storm that made it so at the time the Patriots and the Bears were the people in the Super Bowl. Let's be honest. Because at the time the Patriots were shit and the Bears were shit. They just happened to be like our country, our current representatives in our country, our politicians.
Yeah.
It's the base case scenario. Which pile of shit do you take?
Yeah, you're the biggest country in the world, yet your politicians suck.
Right?
All of them.
NFL, one of the biggest sporting groups, the sporting federations in the world. However, right at that particular point, it's like, oh, Patriots? Fantastic. Can you physically name anybody that was on either team at the time?
Nope.
No, just nobody was worth committing to memory back then. I think maybe William the Refrigerator Perry from the Bears. I can remember.
During that time, yeah, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad team at the time, especially if you consider now.
Do you know why I remember him? That one episode of the A-Team that starred him and Hulk Hogan.
He was there. That is true.
There was a crossover episode with because he had such a presence at the time. William the Refrigerator Perry.
He did a whole bunch of commercials too. It was like the Shaquille O'Neal of his time.
Right? Big guy. I mean, really big guy.
Yeah, he was hefty.
So, yeah, I think that we'll leave it at there. So, you'd rather be the ruler of Ethiopia than the owner of the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather go to heaven but the food sucks, or go to hell but the food is amazing? Silence. I mean, the food sucks, but it's heaven. So I mean,
there's gotta be something else to it to make it more worthwhile.
Right. I mean, but then go to hell and be tortured for all eternity, but you're getting great meals. I mean, the food's good. I mean, it depends on how into food you really are.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in heaven. Technically, do you need to eat?
I'm big into food, but I've had a lot of good food. If I'm going to go somewhere, I'm sure there's something in heaven to make it worthwhile. That I will just be able to drink water and eat bread. If everything sucks, that's what I'm going to do.
Okay. I don't even know how to feel about this particular one. All right. Would you rather stick your finger in your asshole within a crowded public place and smell it, or B, dance in a G-string to I Am Woman at a strip club? Yeah, silence again. Like, that was like a full, like...
There will be cameras there in either one of the places.
Everybody has a phone. If they have a phone, they have a camera. So
it's more dignified, the sticking the finger and smelling it than dancing in a G-string at a strip club.
To the song "I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar."
Yeah, no.
How do you even dance to that? That's a protest song.
I'm sure somebody found a way. At somewhere, somehow, somebody has found a way.
It's got to be a remix. It has to be a remix. Because the original was just sort of a folksy song. You can't really dance to folksy songs.
We put Lil Jon on that, bitch, and it'll be a remix.
You know? Just Lil Jon and Lil Kim. We'll just add all the littles in there.
Lil Jon roaring, yeah. I'm a woman, hear me roar. Yeah!
Oh God, no! That's horrible.
And you can stop me, okay? That'll be all the Grammys.
I think like with folksy music, you really can't dance. It's more like kind of joyfully prancing around at best.
Joyfully prancing.
It's not dancing at that point. You can't dance to folk music, like just guitar folk music.
Unless you're doing that Fortnite little dance, I'm sure that goes into anything.
Nah, that doesn't go with anything at all. That one dance that you can't dance, it's just a dance. You don't dance to anything with it. You just dance to nothing.
I think it's a movement. It's a motion. It's not a dance because there's really no rhythm needed. No nothing. No cadence to it.
Okay. Next question. Would you rather live in a state where men have to open carry their penis, or live in a state with a mandatory sex background check and a 6-day waiting period for sex?
I'm pretty confident about basically just carrying my bayonet on my shoulder.
It's gonna. Right?
I mean,
that's a concealed weapon, sir. You're going to have to take that out.
It depends also on who I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
6 days?
It's a mandatory background check and a 6-day waiting period, yes.
But that's for the first time. The rest of the time is good because you already passed all that if it's going to be with that same person for an extended period of time. I'm quite monogamous in my old age.
Right. I'm guessing like if you were younger, that might be a pain in the ass. Like every person. Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah.
6 days.
At my age, I'll wait 6 days.
Oh.
At my age, I'll wait 6 days.
Might. Six.
No, I will.
I guess it depends.
Again, remember, it's not going to be like every time with the same person. You got to get that done and wait that time.
But that first time is still going to... It's going to... Like, midway, everything's getting hot and heavy. All of a sudden, they're like, okay, stop. Here's the paperwork. Fill this out in triplicate. It'll be 6 days. And when we get you back... And only if your background check clears.
Yeah.
If they don't like what's in your background, well, then, whatever.
Oh, that... Well...
If they start asking for references, do you have any references?
Yeah. There's that. I have mixed reviews.
You know, it's not one of those things where you can be like, hey, you know, have a relative be like, hey, can you just tell them that they're going to call you and you're going to give me a good reference, okay? What?
Well, not a relative.
Yeah. Well, I'm treating it like a job interview kind of thing where you're giving references for a job interview. How many times did you go for a job interview and like give like a relative's telephone number and be like, hey, you know, John, do me a favor. They're gonna call you, and if you just pick up the phone and tell them that I did this and I did a good job, you know, blah blah blah.
I mean, we all have a past. If it's gonna be both me and the potential partner, both get that done, then yeah, I'm all for it.
Fair enough.
Trust me, a lot of people will lower the standards a lot because they know someone's going to know what they've done.
All right.
You know it. You know it.
All right.
The only reason why some people's standards are so high is because everybody doesn't know what they've done.
Right. It's like I got high standards. Why? Because all the fucked up shit I did in the past, I need to have high standards now.
Yeah, I mean, us old people, like in our age group, yours and mine. I'm sorry, by putting you out there on in front of everybody.
It's okay.
We get to have high standards because we did a lot of craziness prior to social media.
It's like, why have you got such high standards? Here's what we're gonna do. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay this manual out here. This is my track record. This is the reason why that bar came up a bit, because the bar was down here for the longest time. Like,
Yeah.
nobody's limboing under the bar at this point. People are just stepping over it. Yeah, good.
Yeah, exactly.
We're on the other side. Fantastic. No, this needs to be a hurdle. We're not having them step over anymore. They need to leap. They need to jump.
Of course, of course. The easier you make, the less you get valued.
I think we got time for one more question. One more question.
Ask away, sir.
Would you rather be like Subway and provide extra meat when requested, or be like Skittles and provide a rainbow of flavors?
I think Skittles.
I think I'm going to be like Subway.
Here's the thing: if you hit the spot, there's no need for more.
Well, what if they want more and they request it?
Then that person needs to keep it moving. You got all these flavors over here. You crazy?
You're going to be like Baskin Robbins, 31 flavors?
At least.
Got more flavors?
That's 31 on Tuesdays, which is the low days.
Got more flavors than Ben & Jerry's.
Yeah, that's me. Not a rainbow, a plethora.
Speaking of ice cream flavors, there's a place that used to be down here on the corner. A few years back, before I moved down to Georgia, then came back. Right here on the corner.
It's not an understand broad.
How often do you get down into the restaurant district here in Haverhill?
Well, not too often these days, but I used to get through that quite often and enjoy the food around there.
So you know where
hit and pick up at times.
They have the train station there just before you get to where the restaurant district is. And right
Exactly.
across from the train station area, there's like a little park before all the buildings and the restaurants start.
Mm-hmm.
Right there next to that little park, the first building, there was a micro creamery for a while. Basically an ice cream place where they made their own ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
The most memorable ice cream flavor that I have ever had was the experience of having their Guinness beer ice cream. Guinness beer ice cream. It was it had a dark stout heavy cream flavor to it.
Wow.
And it had that little bit of beer back flavor. It tasted like a stout beer. But an ice cream flavor.
That sounds like heaven on a cone.
It was. I have never been able to find the duplicate anywhere. And when I came back up here and realized the micro creamery no longer existed, like most flash in the pan restaurants.
Back to Georgia.
Yeah. It's like, great.
The devil came to Georgia.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't find it down in Georgia either. You'd think in the South, beer-flavored ice cream would be the norm, but, down there it wouldn't be Guinness beer-flavored ice cream. It'd be like Bulldog or what is that, Natural Ice?
The Pabst.
Whatever you can pick up for $3.99 for a 12-pack,
Yeah, those joints. Pabst.
Yeah, Pabst Blue Ribbon, yeah.
Yeah.
Bud Light, maybe.
Strohs.
Oh, God. Or, remember, what was that? What was that? Was it Milwaukee?
Old Milwaukee.
Old Milwaukee, yeah. Just the really bad beer that, like, you're sitting here and you don't have the beer money and you're scraping shit out of the couch cushions and you finally figure you got enough in change to go buy one of these things,
Yeah.
Great, $3.99. Let's go buy a 12-pack.
Well, at this day and age, I'm grown. My standards are high in beer too, because of things I've gone through in the past. So if I can buy it with change from my under my couch cushions, I really don't want to drink it.
It's like, 12 pack of this, or one like, tall boy of the good kind over here. They have the singles now. They'll sell you the singles. I'll spend the $3.99 over here. Think. Huh?
Those are like 50 cents.
It's like I'll buy a couple of these over the 12 pack for $3.99. We're good. Because I know what that's going to taste like.
I'm sure you're better off drinking battery fluid.
That beer, it tastes like strained juiced ass. That's what it tastes like.
Damn.
You say damn, but then you're thinking for a minute like actually kind of accurate,
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree.
All right. Well, on behalf of myself and Omar, I thank you guys for stopping in to listen to the podcast this evening.
Yes, sir.
We will get back to our regular scheduled recording after the first of the year. Next 4 episodes are all pre-recorded, so this is the first of the pre-recorded episodes. You'll see 3 more throughout December, and then after the first of the year, we're going to get back to recording again. So thank you once again for listening to us.
We're waiting for the invention of post-recording, so we can do those too.
Right? Pre-recording. I don't want to post-record. That's too much pressure. That's too much pressure. That's too much.
All right, everybody. Have a great night. Enjoy yourselves and each other.
Great night.
In every
Sleep
type
tight.
of way possible.
What?
In every type of way possible.
Okay. Just be comfortable till the next time.
As long as everybody's in agreement.
Right. If somebody complains,
you don't have to wait 6 days.
Right. Make sure that they're in agreement to stick around for a little while. That way you don't have to wait another 6 days afterwards. Oh, come on. Did you have to? Now I got to go through that again? Shit. Fuck.
Yeah, I know.
Can you give me at least a good reference? That's all I'm asking.
Marriages will last longer. Either way, make it a great night, everybody. Jefe, make it a good night.
Make it a good night? Yeah. Good night.